Do you ever feel that days are slipping away too fast? You wake up, check your phone, rush through breakfast, go to work or class, come back tired, and suddenly it's night again. Another day gone. Another dream waiting. You tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow comes, and you say it again and again, until one day, you look in the mirror and realize that time has been quietly leaving you while you were busy waiting for the perfect moment. The truth is simple and painful. Time doesn't stop. It doesn't slow down when you are sad, and it doesn't wait when you are lost. It keeps moving minute by minute, no matter what you do. But here is the beautiful side. Time is not your enemy. Time is your life itself. It is the most precious thing you own. Every second that passes is not just time going away. It is you growing, aging, changing, and shaping the story of who you are. When you waste time, you are not just wasting minutes. You are wasting yourself. You are giving away the only thing you can never get back. You can lose money and earn it again. You can lose friends and meet new ones. But 1 hour lost is lost forever. That is why people who value their time always seem stronger, calmer, and more alive. They don't live longer hours, but they live deeper ones. Imagine this. Your life is a jar filled with 30,000 small stones. Each stone is one day. You remove one every morning. Some days you use it to create something beautiful. You learn, help, love, build. Other days you let it roll away without noticing. One morning you'll look into the jar and see it half empty. Then you'll understand that your life was never about how many stones you had, but how you used them. So, what are you doing with today's stone? Are you spending it with awareness or letting it disappear like yesterday? You don't need to make big moves. You just need to make real ones. Speak that sentence in English even if your accent shakes. Read that page even if you're tired. Call that person even if you feel shy. Each small action is proof that you're alive, that your time still belongs to you. Breathe for a moment. Listen to the clock near you. Every tick is not a warning. It's a whisper. I am your life. Use me well. You don't need to run faster. You just need to be awake. Time is not asking for perfection. It's asking for presence. Because the real tragedy is not that life ends too soon. The real tragedy is that we wait too long to begin living it. You wake up, and the morning light touches your face. Another day begins, quiet and innocent, like a blank page waiting for words. Most people don't see how powerful this moment is. They rush. They scroll. They check messages and step into the noise before they even breathe. But this is the moment when your time begins again. What you do with your first hour decides how you will feel for the rest of the day. It is the small door that opens to the rest of your life. When you start your morning without thought, you give your time away before you even use it. But when you start with intention, you tell the world, today is mine. Sit up slowly. Stretch. Feel your heartbeat. Whisper to yourself, I am alive. I have time. I will not waste it. These simple words may look small, but they plant something powerful inside you. Awareness. And awareness changes everything. Think of your time like clean water flowing from a fountain. If you let it run freely into the dirt, it disappears. But if you catch it, hold it, and use it with care, it gives life to everything it touches. The first few minutes of your day are the cup that shapes the flow. Fill it with clarity, not confusion. Instead of checking your phone, check your thoughts. Instead of asking, what should I do? Ask, who do I want to be today? The truth is, every day is a small life. Morning is birth. Noon is growth. Evening is reflection. And night is rest. If you waste a day, you are quietly wasting a lifetime. But if you live one day with purpose, you train your mind to live all of them with meaning. That's how change begins, not with a huge decision, but with a single, conscious morning. Many people say, I don't have time. But look closely, and you'll see they have time for everything except what matters. They have time to worry, time to complain, time to escape into screens, but no time to build their dreams. The problem is not the clock. The problem is choice. Time is always enough for what you truly love. If you care about it, you will make time. If you don't, you will make excuses. So today, try something small. Before the world takes your attention, take a quiet moment for yourself. Breathe. Repeat a few English sentences. Say, today, I will focus. I will learn. I will be kind. I will protect my time. Feel how those words change your energy. Because the moment you start guarding your hours, life starts guarding you back. Outside, people are already running, cars are moving, the world is noisy. But inside, you can stay still and calm, like a mountain. Remember this: you control your morning, or your morning controls you. Every sunrise is a second chance to live, to learn, to start again. Don't waste it. As the day begins to move faster, you start to feel the weight of everything pulling your attention: work, messages, noise, other people's demands. It's so easy to forget that time is not something you have to fight for. It's something you have to guide. The world will always try to take your hours, your focus, your peace. But you are the only one who decides who gets your time and who doesn't. Every yes you say to one thing is a no to something else. That's the quiet truth most people never see. Imagine that your time is a garden. Each hour is a small piece of soil. You can plant seeds of learning, rest, love, and creativity. Or you can let weeds of distraction grow until nothing beautiful can live there. The garden doesn't choose what grows, you do. And if you stop paying attention, the weeds will always win. That is why awareness is not a luxury. It is survival. Look at your day like a map. There are roads leading to peace and roads leading to chaos. You can take the same 24 hours as anyone else and end the day full or empty. The difference is how you drive. Do you steer your mind, or do you let it drift wherever the noise takes it? The people who achieve peace are not always lucky. They are simply awake. They say no often. They say later to things that don't matter and now to things that do. You might think it's selfish to protect your time, but it's not. It's self-respect. Because when you guard your time, you are guarding your life. You are saying, my energy is sacred. My dreams matter. My mind deserves space to grow. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and every minute you give to meaningless things drains the life out of you little by little. Try this small exercise. For 1 full hour today, turn off everything. No phone, no messages, no music. Just silence. Sit with your thoughts, write something in English, or think about one goal you want to achieve this month. Feel how long an hour truly is when it belongs to you. You will notice something magical. Time slows down when you are present. It stretches like soft light. It feels generous, peaceful, alive. The reason we feel that life moves too fast is because we rarely live inside our moments. We are always somewhere else, in yesterday's mistakes or tomorrow's fears. But time lives only here, in this second breath, in this heartbeat, in this word. When you start to live in the moment, life no longer runs away. It waits for you. So as the day unfolds, walk slower. Look at the details: sunlight on a wall, a stranger's smile, the sound of your steps. These are not small things. They are the true texture of your time. They are proof that you are still here, that life has not left you behind. And the more you notice, the more your world begins to change. You walk through the day carrying invisible clocks inside you. One measures your tasks, another your dreams, another your emotions. You can feel them ticking, softly, somewhere under your skin. The fast one makes you rush. The slow one makes you reflect. And between them, Your real life happens, not in the future, not in the past, but in the quiet seconds when you finally stop running and simply exist. Most people live like machines, moving from one thing to another without breathing. They eat quickly, talk quickly, work quickly, but feel almost nothing. Their bodies move, but their hearts sleep. They think they are saving time, but they are only losing connection. Because life is not made of hours, it is made of moments. And moments are born only when you give them attention. Think about a cup of tea. If you drink it while scrolling on your phone, it's gone in 2 minutes. But if you drink it slowly, smelling the steam, feeling the warmth, watching the light move across the table, it becomes something beautiful, a memory. That's what presence does. It doesn't give you more time. It gives you more life inside the same time. When you slow down, you begin to notice that every ordinary act is a lesson. The way you speak to people teaches patience. The way you walk teaches awareness. Even washing your hands becomes a reminder that time, like water, slips away if you don't hold it with care. This kind of living is not lazy, it is intelligent. It is how you turn daily life into meditation. Try to practice this today. Choose one simple action, maybe preparing food, cleaning your room, or writing in English, and do it as if it were the most important thing in the world. No distractions, no hurry, just full focus. Listen to the sounds, feel the movements, notice the small details. When your mind tries to run away, gently bring it back. You'll feel the difference: calm, clarity, control. The more you practice living with awareness, the more power you have over your time. Because awareness is like light. It shows you where your hours are going. It reveals how much of your energy is spent on what truly matters and how much is lost in shadows. Once you see it clearly, you can start changing it. And slowly, something changes inside you. You stop counting hours and start feeling them. You begin to understand that your life is not somewhere else waiting to begin. It's right here, already happening. The air you breathe, the words you speak, the small victories you don't even notice. They are all proof that your time is still yours. So pause for a moment. Feel your pulse. That rhythm is the sound of your personal clock. It doesn't lie. It reminds you that you're alive, that you still have a chance to turn every second into something that belongs to you. And that is where real living begins, not in doing more, but in being more inside every moment. When you start to live more slowly, something strange happens. The world around you doesn't slow down with you. People still rush, screens still flash, noise still fills the air. But you begin to see everything differently, as if the world is moving through water while you stand still, breathing clearly. That calm you feel is not weakness. It's strength. It's the power of someone who has learned to protect their time. Protecting your time does not mean hiding from people or saying no to everything. It means saying yes only to what gives your hours meaning. Every request, every message, every plan asks for a piece of your life. Most people give it away too easily, afraid to disappoint others. But remember this truth. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, you are saying no to something important. You cannot serve your dreams if your day is full of noise. Think of your time as a small house. You only have a few rooms: energy, focus, emotion, rest. If you let strangers walk in and fill the space with clutter, you'll soon have no room left for peace. But if you clean, organize, and choose what stays, your life starts to breathe again. The air becomes lighter, and suddenly there's space for your real self to grow. It's okay to close the door sometimes. It's okay to turn off your phone. The world will not fall apart. You will not miss your destiny by being quiet for a while. In fact, silence is where your destiny becomes clear. Great ideas don't shout. They whisper, and you can only hear them when your mind is calm enough to listen. Try this little exercise today. When someone asks for your time, don't answer immediately. Take a breath. Ask yourself, is this important to me? Does it move my life forward or keep it stuck? Even a few seconds of thought can save you hours of regret. Decision is power. Awareness is protection. Sometimes people will not understand when you start valuing your time. They will say you've changed. They'll call you selfish, distant, too focused. Smile gently, because that means you're growing. People who don't respect their own time will never understand those who do. But one day, they'll see your peace and wish they had guarded theirs too. As you become more careful with your hours, your life begins to feel lighter. The days stop blending into each other. You start remembering small things, the taste of breakfast, the sound of rain, the way your heart feels when you're learning something new. Those details were always there. You just never had the space to see them. And when you finally have space, you realize something even more powerful. Time is not just about doing. It's also about being. Being present, being kind, being alive in your own story. The most beautiful use of time is not to fill it, but to feel it. Because when you start to feel your life deeply, you begin to live it truly. When you begin to feel your life instead of rushing through it, you notice how fragile and temporary everything is. People come and go, seasons change, faces grow older, and dreams shift shape. At first, this realization can make you sad. You see how quickly time moves and how impossible it is to hold anything forever. But if you look deeper, you'll see something beautiful hiding inside that truth. The fact that nothing lasts is what makes every moment precious. If everything stayed the same, nothing would matter. Think about the sky after rain. The clouds move, the colors change, and for a few short minutes the light turns golden. You can't freeze that light, you can only experience it. Time works in the same way. You cannot stop it, but you can meet it with open eyes. You can choose to be awake while it passes instead of sleeping through it. That choice is what separates living from existing. Sometimes, people wait for the right time to start their dream. They say, I'll do it when I have more money, when I'm ready, when things calm down. But the right time never comes. Life never becomes perfect or quiet enough. There is only now, raw and real. Waiting for the right time is like waiting for the wind to stop before you learn to breathe. You must live in the wind, not after it. Here is a thought to carry with you. Your time is not somewhere in the future. It's in your hands this second. Every little action you take writes a sentence in the story of your life. Even the small ones, reading a page, speaking one English phrase, helping someone, writing a dream on paper. These moments don't seem big, but they are bricks building your future. Try this. Before you sleep tonight, think of one small thing you did today that moved your life forward. Don't look for perfection, look for truth. Maybe you spoke up when you were shy. Maybe you read for 5 minutes instead of scrolling. Maybe you forgave someone or yourself. These are victories too, quiet ones, but they change the shape of your time. And if you feel behind, remember, time is not a race. You are not late. You are exactly where you are meant to be to begin again. Comparison steals your peace faster than anything else. Everyone's clock moves differently. Some flowers bloom in spring, others in autumn, but all still reach the sun. So stop looking at other people's timelines. Stop counting what you've missed. Life doesn't ask you to be the fastest. It asks you to be present, to show up with honesty, to keep walking, even if slowly. Progress is not measured in speed, but in awareness. One step forward in truth is better than 10 steps in fear. When you start seeing time as a companion instead of an enemy, your days stop feeling heavy. You wake up not to fight the clock, but to walk beside it. You begin to trust that every second, even the hard ones, is leading you somewhere meaningful. And in that trust, you finally find peace. Peace is not something that falls from the sky. It grows quietly inside you, one choice at a time. It starts when you stop fighting every little thing you can't control and start focusing on what you can. The world outside will always move faster than your heart wants it to. There will always be traffic, deadlines, and noise. But there is a place inside you that time cannot touch. That is the space where peace lives, and you can return to it any moment you choose. Most people think peace means doing nothing, but that's not true. Peace is not the absence of movement. It's the presence of purpose. It's when you know why you're doing what you're doing. Even hard work feels light when it's filled with meaning. You can spend 10 hours on something and still feel alive if it's connected to your soul. But one empty hour spent on things that don't matter will drain all your energy. Think about how you spend your time at work or school. Do you move automatically, or do you remember why you began? Every task, no matter how small, can be turned into something meaningful if you put your heart into it. Washing dishes can be an act of calm. Writing an email can be a lesson in clarity. Speaking English can be a way to open your world. When you give meaning to your minutes, you transform time itself. Try to bring this presence into your daily rhythm. Before you start anything, pause for one deep breath. Ask yourself, what is my purpose in this moment? Maybe it's to learn, to help, to create, or simply to enjoy. Once you name it, your actions stop feeling like pressure and start feeling like expression. You're not running after time anymore. You're moving with it. And as you learn to move with time, something else happens. The fear of missing out begins to fade. You stop worrying about being late or being perfect. You start trusting the flow of your own life. You realize that you don't need to do everything, only what is right for you. Time rewards clarity. It gives more space to those who live with direction and takes it from those who live with confusion. You may notice that as your mind becomes calmer, your language does too. You speak slower, choose simpler words, and express yourself more clearly. This is not weakness, it's power. Simplicity is not a lack of intelligence. It is the mark of understanding. When your thoughts are peaceful, your words carry truth. When your time is balanced, your voice becomes strong. Let this be your practice for today. Slow speech, slow thought, slow reaction. Don't rush to fill silence. Don't rush to answer everything. Give time to your words. Give space to your emotions. Watch how your conversations change when you speak from calm instead of hurry. This is how peace becomes visible, not through quiet rooms, but through quiet hearts. When you start protecting your inner peace, you protect your time automatically. You stop reacting to every noise around you and start choosing what deserves your energy. That's when you realize that time is not something outside of you at all. It's something you create from within. Once you start to create time from within, life begins to change in ways you didn't expect. The same world looks softer. The same people feel kinder. The same problems seem smaller. It's not that everything outside has changed. It's that you have. You start to notice the space between one moment and the next, the small breath that lives there. Inside that breath is freedom. And when you find it, you realize that no one can take your time unless you give it away. But learning to live this way takes practice. The old habits still whisper to you. The phone still calls. The noise still tempts. Sometimes you will fall back into hurry. That's okay. Awareness doesn't mean you never get lost. It means you find your way faster. The secret is to forgive yourself quickly and return to presence. Every moment gives you a new chance to begin again. Think about time like a muscle. It becomes stronger when you use it wisely. The more you train your focus, the more power you have over your day. Try setting a simple intention each morning. Say quietly, "Today, I will give my time to what matters." Repeat it as if you were programming your heart. You don't need complex plans, just small, true promises. When you keep those promises, your confidence grows. You start trusting yourself again. Confidence doesn't come from control, it comes from connection. The more connected you feel to your own minutes, the less afraid you become of losing them. You begin to see that time is not an enemy that steals your youth. It's a friend that walks with you, teaching you to use your energy wisely. Even difficult hours become teachers. Pain slows you down long enough to listen. Silence shows you what really matters. And when you begin to trust time, you stop rushing the future. You no longer wake up in fear of being behind. You understand that your path is unique, that nothing real can be taken from you. What is meant for you will arrive at the right time, not when you panic, but when you're ready. This understanding changes everything. It replaces pressure with patience, chaos with rhythm. Try a simple exercise. The next time you wait, in traffic, in a line, between tasks, don't reach for your phone. Just stand there and breathe. Feel how time expands when you stop running from it. Notice your surroundings, the sound of footsteps, the smell of air, the rhythm of your breath. You will realize that waiting is not wasted. It is a quiet form of living, a small reminder that even stillness has value. And as you keep practicing, you begin to feel gratitude. Gratitude is the softest, strongest way to hold time. When you thank a moment for existing, it becomes brighter. Thank your morning for starting. Thank your work for teaching you. Thank your evening for rest. Gratitude doesn't slow time, but it fills it with light. That light begins to guide you, showing you what deserves your hours and what doesn't. You start spending less time proving yourself and more time being yourself. You stop chasing what drains you and begin nurturing what grows you. In this way, your time becomes not only your life, but also your peace, your teacher, your friend. Gratitude slowly reshapes the way you see time. It turns ordinary hours into quiet treasures. When you begin to thank life for simple things, a clear morning, a warm cup, a kind word, you notice that your mind becomes lighter. The heaviness that once followed you begins to fade. You stop waiting for big events to feel alive because you realize life is made of tiny miracles already happening around you. Gratitude doesn't add days to your life, but it adds life to your days. And here is the most surprising part. When you live in gratitude, time starts to work with you, not against you. You stop feeling like you're running out of it, and instead, you begin to feel carried by it. Each minute feels longer, softer, more generous. The same 24 hours feel like enough, because they are enough when you're awake to them. Still, gratitude is not only about feeling good. It's also a form of discipline. It asks you to pay attention even when things are hard. It asks you to look at a problem and find one thing to thank. Maybe it's the lesson hidden inside. Maybe it's the strength that grows in you. When you can thank time even during struggle, you become truly powerful. Because then, nothing can steal your inner peace. Try this small practice before sleeping. Take a notebook and write down 3 things you are thankful for from the day. They don't need to be big. Maybe you finished a task. Maybe you spoke one full sentence in English without fear. Maybe someone smiled at you. Writing them down teaches your brain to notice goodness instead of rushing past it. Over time, this habit rewires your mind to see beauty where others see boredom. Once you live like this for a while, you start to understand that gratitude and purpose are twins. Gratitude roots you in the present, and purpose pulls you toward the future. Together they give balance. Gratitude says, "This moment is enough." Purpose whispers, "And still, I can grow." Between those two voices, peace begins to bloom. Purpose doesn't mean huge goals or fame. It means waking up each morning with something that gives your hours direction. Maybe it's learning, helping, creating, or simply being kind. When your actions are guided by purpose, even tired days feel meaningful. You might not control how much time you have, but you control how much meaning you give it. Look around your world right now. Everything you see was once created by someone's purpose. Books, songs, homes, languages. They all began when a person decided to give their time to something that mattered. That is how time becomes immortal. It leaves traces that continue after us. Ask yourself tonight, what small thing can I give my time to that will still matter tomorrow? It doesn't need to be perfect, just honest. Maybe write one page, plant one seed, speak one kind sentence. These are the quiet ways humans turn time into love. And when you live with that awareness, every breath feels sacred. You wake up each morning not just to survive, but to participate, to leave a mark, to learn, to give, to feel. You realize that time is not something you lose. It's something you offer. And when you offer it with gratitude and purpose, it always gives back. Purpose gives shape to your hours. It's the invisible line that connects one day to the next and keeps you moving even when you feel tired. When you wake up with a reason, your energy changes. You stop drifting and start directing. Even the smallest task feels like a step towards something bigger. That's the quiet power of people who live with intention. They don't need constant motivation because their purpose itself becomes fuel. But purpose isn't something you find by waiting for inspiration. It grows from action, from showing up, from using your time even when you don't feel ready. Many people keep asking, "What is my purpose?" as if it's hiding behind a mountain. The truth is, you build it by living. You discover it in motion. Every time you do something that brings light to others or peace to yourself, you touch a piece of your purpose. Try thinking of your time like a brush and your days like a canvas. Each action is a stroke of color. Some days are bright, others dark, but together they form your painting. You don't see the picture clearly until you step back, years later, and realize that every line mattered. Even mistakes became part of the beauty. That's why it's okay not to know where everything leads. Just keep painting. Keep giving time to what feels true. Sometimes, though, purpose will ask you to be brave. It will whisper, leave what is safe. You might have to let go of habits, jobs, or people who drain your time. That can be painful, but freedom often begins with release. Remember, saying no is not rejection, it's protection. You're protecting your energy for what truly deserves it. You will notice something strange when you start living by purpose. You'll still be busy, but you won't feel rushed. You'll still get tired, but you won't feel empty. Because meaning is the best kind of rest. When your actions serve something you love, even exhaustion feels sacred. Purpose also teaches you humility. You understand that every person is walking their own timeline, learning at their own speed. You stop judging, stop comparing, and begin respecting everyone's different rhythm. This makes your time softer, more compassionate. You see that we're all just trying to use our days well before they disappear. Before you sleep tonight, ask yourself one gentle question. Did I spend my time on what truly matters, or just on what was loudest? The answer will guide you tomorrow. Because that is how purpose works. It doesn't shout. It whispers. It doesn't demand perfect plans. It asks for honest hours. When you give it those hours, your time stops feeling like sand slipping through your fingers. It becomes clay, soft in your hands, ready to be shaped into something real. As you begin to shape your days with purpose, a new feeling starts to grow, clarity. It doesn't appear all at once. It rises slowly, like dawn spreading light across a quiet room. You begin to see which moments truly matter and which ones are just noise. You start noticing the difference between being busy and being productive, between moving fast and moving forward. And with that awareness, your relationship with time begins to heal. Clarity is peace in motion. It's when you no longer rush just to feel alive. You start working with rhythm instead of pressure. You still have goals, but they no longer feel like heavy chains. They become doors you open one by one, calmly, intentionally. Every task becomes a choice, not a burden. This is what balance feels like. Not a life without work, but a life where work and rest breathe together. Most people think clarity comes from planning everything perfectly, but it actually comes from presence. You don't find direction by staring at maps. You find it by walking and watching carefully where your feet land. When you live with attention, you can feel when something is right or wrong for you. Time itself starts to guide you. Imagine you're walking through a forest. The path isn't straight. It bends, it climbs, it hides behind trees. Sometimes you think you're lost, but then a small light appears through the branches, a sign you're still on your way. That light is clarity. You only see it when you keep moving. Standing still in fear only makes the forest darker. To keep that inner light bright, you need stillness each day. A few minutes of silence can clear the dust from your thoughts. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and listen to the sound of your breathing. Feel how the world slows down with you. That calm space is where decisions become clear. That's where you remember what truly matters. The more often you return to that space, the easier it is to spend your time wisely. And something beautiful happens when you live this way. You stop trying to control everything. You start trusting the flow of time instead of fighting it. You realize that not all delays are failures. Not all slow days are wasted. Sometimes the universe makes you wait because it's teaching you patience, because it's preparing you for something better than you planned. Time is not punishing you. It's protecting you from rushing into the wrong things. Patience becomes your quiet strength. You stop chasing results and start building roots. You learn that anything real takes time. Healing, learning, love, language, growth. You can't plant a seed and expect a tree tomorrow. But if you water it daily, the day will come when you stand under its shade, proud of the time you gave it. And when you finally reach that place of peace, you look back and understand. Every slow hour, every silent evening, every tiny step was part of your progress. Nothing was wasted. Time never failed you. It was always teaching you how to live. When you finally understand that time is your teacher, not your enemy, the way you live begins to soften. You stop measuring your worth by how much you finish and start noticing how deeply you experience what you do. The world around you may still run fast, but inside, there's space. Wide and quiet, like an open field after rain. That space is where wisdom begins. It's where you can finally hear your own voice, the one that's been whispering under the noise all this time. Wisdom doesn't always sound loud or confident. Sometimes it speaks through tiredness, through the gentle feeling that says, slow down. Other times, it comes as courage, a small spark that says, keep going, you're closer than you think. When you start listening to these small messages, you stop living in resistance and start living in rhythm. You understand that every season of time has its purpose, growth, rest, creation, letting go. None of them are mistakes. Look at nature for proof. Trees don't grow leaves all year. Flowers don't bloom every day. Even the sea has tides, high and low, calm and stormy. Your life is no different. Some days are for building, others for breathing. If you keep pushing through every season without pause, you'll miss the quiet lessons time is offering. Rest is not wasting time. It is repairing it. It's how you prepare for what's next. Try something gentle today. Take 1 hour with no goal except to be alive in it. Don't fill it. Don't chase it. Just notice it. Watch sunlight move through a window. Listen to distant sounds. Feel your breath travel in and out. The mind will try to escape, to plan, to check, but bring it back with kindness. This is how you train yourself to live, not just exist. Because life is not a list to complete, it's a rhythm to feel. As you practice this kind of awareness, gratitude deepens, patience strengthens, and fear begins to fade. You realize that nothing real can be lost. It can only change form. The people, places, and dreams that leave still leave something behind. A lesson, a memory, a piece of growth. Time transforms everything, but it also connects everything. You begin to see that your past wasn't a waste. It was a foundation. Even your mistakes were teachers dressed in disguise. When you see your time through this lens, regret slowly disappears. You forgive yourself for the years you spent afraid or distracted. You understand that you were doing your best with the awareness you had. That compassion for your past self gives you new freedom in the present. You no longer chase perfection. You chase presence. You no longer ask for more time. You use what you have with love. And that is where true peace hides, in acceptance, not control. When you accept that time will keep moving no matter what you do, you stop trying to catch it. You start walking with it, hand in hand, like an old friend. You trust that if you stay awake, every minute will lead you exactly where you need to go. Walking with time as a friend changes the air around you. You no longer wake up with that invisible weight on your chest, the pressure to rush, the fear of falling behind. Instead, mornings start quietly. You stretch, you breathe, and you listen. You begin to see that peace is not something you chase. It's something you create by giving attention to what's already here. When you treat time with kindness, it treats you the same way. There's a strange and beautiful confidence that grows when you live like this. You stop needing to prove yourself every hour. You no longer compete with everyone's highlight moments. You understand that your path is personal, and so is your timing. You start to trust the invisible schedule life has written for you, even when it doesn't match your plans. That trust feels like exhaling after years of holding your breath. With that calm comes a new kind of clarity. You start noticing who and what truly deserves your hours. Some people add peace to your time, others take it away. Some places feed your mind, others drain your energy. You begin to see your time as sacred ground. You choose carefully who and what you allow to step on it. It's not pride. It's respect for your own life. Learning to protect your time often means creating gentle boundaries. Not walls, just soft edges that keep your heart safe. When you say no kindly but firmly, you're saying yes to balance, health, and truth. You learn to step away from conversations that feel heavy, from activities that steal your attention, from people who confuse noise with connection. The silence that follows is not loneliness, it's space. And in that space, your creativity, your peace, and your real voice begin to breathe again. Try something small today. Before you say yes to any request, pause and ask yourself, will this grow me or drain me? If it grows you, give it your full attention. If it drains you, walk away gently. You'll be surprised how much lighter your days become when you stop fighting battles that aren't yours. Protecting your time is not selfish, it's self-love in motion. When you start doing this, your hours feel cleaner. You have fewer distractions and more depth. You find time for simple joys, a walk, a conversation, a book, a quiet moment to just be. These small joys become anchors, keeping you stable even when life shakes around you. You learn that joy is not found in big achievements, but in how you spend the little spaces between them. And the more you fill those spaces with care, the more meaningful your life becomes. You start to notice that time isn't running away anymore. It's flowing through you, like a river that knows where it's going. You don't need to chase it or control it. You only need to stay awake enough to feel it, grateful enough to honor it, and brave enough to live it. As you live with this softer rhythm, time starts to feel like music. Every hour has its own tone, its own quiet melody. Some hours are bright, full of motion and energy. Others are slow, full of reflection. When you listen carefully, you can sense what each one asks from you. Some ask for action, some for patience, some for silence. This is what harmony with time feels like. Not control, but understanding. The world outside will still rush, of course. It will still tell you to hurry, to produce, to catch up. But you no longer follow that noise. You have learned a deeper truth. Not everything that moves fast is progress. Sometimes slowness is strength. Sometimes pausing is power. The most beautiful things in life, trust, mastery, love, take time to grow. When you respect that, you stop pulling on the flower before it's ready to bloom. This new awareness changes your relationships too. You start giving people your full time instead of your leftover minutes. You listen without checking your phone. You speak with intention instead of distraction. You realize that the greatest gift you can offer anyone is your undivided attention. Because when you give someone your time, you are literally giving them a part of your life you will never get back. That is why love and time are made of the same substance. But loving people through time also means patience. Everyone moves through their own rhythm of growth and pain. When you stop trying to rush others, you begin to connect with them more deeply. You learn to wait with empathy, to forgive with understanding. Time spent in kindness is never wasted. Try this small exercise tonight. Choose one person in your life, someone you care about, but maybe haven't really seen lately. Give them 10 minutes of full presence. Ask them how they're truly feeling. Look into their eyes. Listen as if you had nowhere else to be. Watch how time slows between you, how even silence feels full. That's what connection really is, shared attention, shared life. And don't forget to give that same gift to yourself. You deserve your own time too. Sit with your thoughts as gently as you'd sit with a friend. Don't rush to fix every emotion, just listen. The more time you spend understanding yourself, the more peace you can offer to the world around you. When you treat every hour as sacred, life begins to mirror that respect. Opportunities appear at the right moments. The right people cross your path when you are ready. You don't have to force anything. You only have to stay open. Time has a way of aligning things when you honor it. So here you are, breathing inside this exact second, the only second that truly exists. Everything you have ever been, everything you will become, all of it meets here. And the beauty is, you are aware of it now. You can feel your life unfolding, not as something to rush through, but as something to cherish, moment by moment, breath by breath. And now, as this reflection reaches its quiet ending, notice something powerful. The story of time has slowly become the story of you. Every lesson, every pause, every breath has been leading here to this simple truth. Your time is not just your life, it is your art. You are the artist of your own hours. The canvas is still open, and the next brushstroke belongs entirely to you. Look back gently for a moment. All the rushing, all the waiting, all the sleepless nights thinking you were behind, they were not wasted. They were chapters in your education. You were learning how to see. You were learning that what matters most is not how fast you go, but how deeply you live. Every mistake taught you to value your minutes. Every delay taught you patience. Every ending taught you how to begin again. There is peace in knowing that nothing was meaningless. Even your quiet seasons carried growth inside them, just like trees gathering strength in winter before they bloom again. So stop blaming yourself for the years that felt slow. Time was not punishing you. It was preparing you. It was shaping your heart into someone who could finally understand what it means to live. Now, the question is no longer, how much time do I have left? But how will I spend what I have? That question changes everything. Because when you begin to spend your time with awareness, every simple act becomes holy. Drinking water, reading, walking, learning, loving, these are not small things. They are how eternity hides inside ordinary days. Promise yourself this. From now on, you will treat your time as treasure. You will not waste it on fear, on endless comparison, on things that steal your peace. You will give your minutes to creation, to kindness, to growth, to truth. You will speak words that matter, learn with curiosity, rest without guilt, and love without hesitation. That is how you turn time into life. And when the years pass, because they will, you will not look back with regret. You will look back with gratitude. You will remember the mornings you slowed down, the people you gave your attention to, the dreams you were brave enough to start. You will see that your life was never about having more time, but about being more alive inside the time you had. So take one last deep breath right now. Feel it move through you like a clock resetting itself. You are here. You are alive. You have today, and that is enough. Live it fully. Live it slowly. Live it as if every minute were a promise between you and the universe. Because it is. And from this moment forward, let each second be a quiet declaration of love for your dreams, for your growth, for your one and only irreplaceable life.